Yo guys, I'm Niek from the Produce School and welcome back to a brand new video. In this video I'm going to teach you how to create rolling melodic techno basses. You can hear this kind of basses in a lot of tracks in this style, so I thought it would be helpful to show you guys how to create these kind of basses in a video. I will go over the sound design, which is pretty simple, and the post-processing, where I will show you guys some tips and tricks that you can use in your own productions as well. If you're searching for some melodic techno and house samples, make sure to go to the link in the description where you will find our pack Astral, which contains all the essentials you need for your next track, like samples, presets, projects and much more. Now let's dive straight into the video. I loaded an init serum and I also loaded a bass line which is playing a rolling 1/16 rhythm, and now that sounds like this. Really bad, so let's start by shaping the sound. For these kind of basses you want a really short envelope. The notes are really short, you still want the sound to change every note, so in that case you should just make the envelope really short. Something like this, for example. And as you can hear, this makes the rhythm more clear instead of a longer decay such as this. Then it just sounds a bit messy and yeah, you just don't want that. So something like this. And for the wavetable you can go really simple as well. A lot of these basses are just made of some of the basic shapes presets. So that is the sine wave, the saw wave, the triangle wave or the saw wave. Let's just try one of those. This one sounds pretty nice. The next thing I always do is I route it through a filter. And now it's basically just tweaking the filter till you get the sound that you want. You can do a lot of things with the filter. For example, you can open it up fully, or you can choose to make it really filtered. You can also try to add some resonance. And then you can try to hit the perfect spot for the decay, because if your decay is too short, the sound will be really weak, like this. It doesn't really sound good, so you have to find the perfect spot. Alright, that sounds cool. For me, this is basically everything I do always in the oscillator section if I want these kind of sounds. Maybe we can try to add some noise or some like punchy noise, like a glass lid. Alright, that one adds some punch, so let's just leave it there. And if I now change this to a saw, for example, it will still sound good. But for now, let's just stay with the square wave. So you can now head into the post-processing of Serum, but I just want to do it all manually in FL Studio, so I have a bit more control and I have a bit more variety in the effects that I can use. So I just linked the bass to a mixer track, and now I'm going to add effects to it. So first of all, I always tend to add an EQ and get rid of some of the high ends. In this way I feel like it sounds much cleaner, and also in combination with the kick I think it works better. You can actually make the slope more steep as well. But that's totally up to you and a bit of a personal preference as well. So next up, you can add a distortion or a saturator just to boost the sound a little bit. I'm a big fan of FabFilter Saturn 2, and I always just browse through the preset folder, for example, this one. Just adds that tiny little extra to the sound that you're missing. Although this one is not that prominent, so you could like choose to add another distortion or saturator. So for example, a little bit of decapitator. Now I want to add another EQ. Alright, that sounds really nice. Let's add a sidechain and listen to how this sounds like with a kick. Alright, so together with the kick, it sounds like this. You can also choose to play it lower, for example, on the D. Right now I want to move on to the delay, as right now the bass sounds really static and you want to add some movement, and you can do that with the delay, but you need to be really careful that you just don't throw a delay on it, as it can start to sound really messy. And actually what I use is a channel split for that. In Ableton you use an audio effect rack for that, and in FL Studio we use the patcher. So let's just open up a patcher and demonstrate what I mean with a channel split. So actually a patcher is really easy. Right here you have the sound input from the patcher, and then you can connect it with the sound output, and in between you can add plugins and you can add different splits. For example, I can add a Maximus in between and make sure that the low end is in mono by using this knob right here and selecting 100% merged. Then I want to add a delay. The Fruity delay is really good, so let's just go with that one. And then I can make another like channel. And now you duplicated the sound. Right now the input goes to the output twice. One time with the delay on it and one time with the Maximus on it. So what we want to do right now is turn the dry knob all the way down. So this channel is only the delay, and this gives us a lot of control on the delay. The next thing I want to do is add a Fruity P controller to the bass line, and you don't really have to change that much. You can put the volume up to the maximum level. Then I want to activate the wet knob of the delay, and then I'm going to link the P controller and invert it. So you kind of sidechain the delay to the bass line. So in that way the delay does not really interfere with your bass, and that's something that really cleans up your mix, but you can still add the delay and you can still add some width to the sound. It's still important to configure the delay in the right way. I like to use the time 3, set it to ping pong mode and let it pan, and then I want to add a bandpass filter. In Patcher you can turn off different channels by right clicking this button. So right now I'm only listening to the delay channel. And now we have all the control over the delay. So if we add another plugin behind the delay in the same channel, it will only affect the delay. So for example, if I choose the radio preset, it will only affect the delay. So that's something you can play around with, and it can lead to really cool stuff. For example, you can add distortion to the delay. Let me see how that sounds. If If I turn off the patcher, the sound sounds like this. You can also add a stereo enhancer to the sound, because like when you use the ping pong delay, it will get really wide. And if you don't want it, you can still make it more merged with this plugin. Alright, so you can get really creative with this. I use this trick a lot in these kind of productions and it works really well. I also want to show you how it sounds when you automate the cutoff. So let's go to the serum and automate the cutoff. So right now the bass sounds pretty good already. You can still try to add some more effects on it, like a multi-band compressor, just a tiny bit. When you open up the filter, it's also really nice to change something in the bass. So for example, pitch some notes up an octave. And if I now change back the sound to, for example, in saw, it will also sound pretty good, I'm pretty sure. So that's it for this video. I hope you learned something about rolling melodic techno basses. If you're searching for more sounds, you can check out the link in the description for the Astro bundle. If you have any more questions about this, make sure to drop them in the comments. Also make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.